To culture haploid and diploid yeast strains, first start by making circles on the bottom of your agar plate. I made one circle for my unknown, one circle for each of my known strains, and I also have a circle where I will mix the known strain with my unknown next to the known strain I will be mixing it with. Both alpha and ADE strains have biochemical pathways when they react with the unknown strain. It will tell you whether or not they complement each other or have mutations based on their color. The ADE mutation catalyzes a step in the biochemical pathway which can cause the colony to turn pink. However, some ADE revertants can cause the colonies to turn white. Here I am going to start plating my yeast strains. I start by opening my agar plate, and then I begin the sterile technique of firing my loop with a torch until the loop turns orange. Turn the gas off of the torch, and then now I'm collecting my unknown strain, unknown 2. When you open the agar plate, you can take your loop and gently scrape some of the yeast strain onto your loop. Then on my prepped agar plate, I will now drag the yeast strain just a thin layer over my unknown circle that I made beforehand. Then I will continue the sterile technique by firing the loop after every use just to avoid contamination. I'm going to go back to my unknown 2 plate and put it on my circles that I will be mixing with my known strands. So again, I am just taking my strain and just doing a very thin layer over the circles. And once I finish firing with the torch again, I am just going to grab one more spot of my unknown since I am testing with 2 known strands. Now I'm going to start with my first known, alpha ADE2. So I start by grabbing just a little bit on the loop very gently and then placing it on the circle where I wrote ADE2. Then I continue using sterile technique just to make sure I don't contaminate either of the plates. Once I grab more ADE2, I am putting it on the mixture circle where I put my unknown. After incubation, I will be able to see how the colonies grew separately and also how the strains complemented or did not complement each other when they were mixed together. The second known strain I'll be using is Alpha Plus, and I'm going to do this the same way I did with the ADE2. Just gently getting a little bit of the strain on my loop and spreading it very thinly on the Alpha Plus circle I made at the beginning. Continue sterile technique before you grab it once more. Again, this is Alpha Plus that I'm getting onto my loop. And then I am going to go back to my plate and put it on the circle I made where I can mix it with my unknown strand. And then I'm just using sterile technique before I put my materials away to make sure none of my yeast is still on there. And then this is what my plate looks like after I have cultured them. After being incubated, I see that my colonies have grown, and now I can continue to the next step of identifying the mutations.